The world thought Taylor Swift had it all: fame, fortune, and millions of fans who adored her every word. But behind the dazzling lights, the sold-out stadiums, and the perfect smile, a terrible truth loomed: Taylor Swift was dying. She had kept it a secret for as long as she could. The late-night hospital visits, the emergency calls, the quiet breakdowns when no one was looking. A rare, undiagnosed illness was slowly draining the life from her. Doctors had no cure. No amount of money, no number of specialists could stop the inevitable. She had months left, maybe weeks. She tried to keep going. She performed, she smiled, she reassured everyone that she was fine. But deep inside, she was exhausted. The world saw her as untouchable, immortal in her fame. But she was only human, and her body was failing her. Then, one night, everything changed. It happened after a concert in Los Angeles, a massive show where she had given everything she had left. The crowd was roaring, lights flashing, music vibrating through the stadium. Taylor stood at the center of it all, a goddess on stage. But her vision blurred. Her hands trembled. Her heart pounded wildly in her chest, and suddenly everything tilted. She barely made it off stage before her legs collapsed under her. Gasps and screams filled the air as she hit the floor, unconscious. The last thing she heard was her manager shouting for help. The news broke within minutes. Taylor Swift collapses after concert. Headlines spread like wildfire. Fans around the world panicked. The hospital tried to keep things quiet, but secrets never lasted long. And somewhere, in the quiet of his home, Keanu Reeves read the news. Keanu wasn't a man who thrived in the spotlight. He had spent his life dodging the chaos of Hollywood, avoiding the scandals and the noise. He preferred his motorcycle, his books, his simple life. But when he read about Taylor, something inside him shifted. He didn't know her well. They had met a few times at events, exchanged polite words. But he had always admired her strength, her kindness. And now, reading the reports, he felt an unfamiliar urgency. Taylor Swift was dying. And for some reason, he couldn't accept that. The world saw him as an action hero, the unshakable John Wick. But what they didn't know was that Keanu had spent years studying something far beyond Hollywood. He had traveled the world, met people most would never believe existed. He had seen miracles, real miracles, things that defied logic, that science refused to explain. And now, as he stared at Taylor's fading image on the screen, one thought formed in his mind. He had to save her. Keanu Reeves had faced assassins, demons, and futuristic overlords on the big screen. But now, he was about to face something far more terrifying: death itself. And this time, there were no special effects, no stunt doubles. This was real. He moved quickly, making calls to people outside the normal medical world. There were ancient healers he had met in his travels, people who had taught him things beyond science. He reached out to a monk in Nepal, an underground doctor in Tokyo, and a woman in Brazil rumored to have cured the incurable. But every answer was the same. Too late. Taylor Swift's condition was worsening. The hospital had quietly prepared for the worst. The world didn't know it yet, but their beloved star had days left, maybe hours. That was when Keanu did something insane. Using connections no one knew he had, he secured access to Taylor's hospital. Disguised, quiet, slipping through the cracks where security wasn't looking. He didn't come with cameras or bodyguards. He came alone, carrying something wrapped in a simple black cloth, a gift from a forgotten world. When he entered her hospital room, she was barely conscious. Pale, fragile, wires attached to her arms. The woman who had once commanded stadiums now looked so small, so breakable. She blinked weakly. "Keanu? You need to stay awake," he said softly, pulling a chair close. "I don't have much time." She gave a faint smile. "You too, huh?" He ignored the joke. "Listen to me. I have something. It's not medicine. Not in the way you'd think. But it's real. From his pocket, he unwrapped the black cloth. Inside was a vial of shimmering golden liquid. Taylor's tired eyes flickered. "Is that?" "A gift," Keanu said. "From people who don't exist on maps. This isn't a cure. It's a choice. If you drink this, you live, but you'll never be the same again." She hesitated. "What do you mean?" Keanu exhaled. "You'll see the world differently. Things you've never noticed before, things no one else will see. The price of life is knowing what truly lies beyond it." She stared at him. A long silence stretched between them. Then, with a trembling hand, she reached for the vial. "One condition," she whispered. Keanu raised an eyebrow. "If I live, promise you won't disappear. Stay. At least for a while." He smirked. "Deal." She lifted the vial to her lips and drank. The change was immediate. A golden warmth spread through her body, light bursting beneath her skin. The machines in the room flickered, the beeping alarms flatlining, then restarting at full power. Her breath hitched, her vision cleared, and for the first time in months, she felt alive. Really, truly alive. The world outside had no idea what had just happened. By morning, the headlines would change from "Taylor Swift fading away" to "Miraculous recovery stuns doctors." But Taylor knew the truth. She had been saved. And Keanu Reeves, Hollywood's quiet hero, had just walked out the door, blending back into the shadows like he was never there. But she knew. And she would never forget.